always forget for the
Well,
first few seconds.
and you don't turn down the sound of the music. But I hate
No, you say that, Phil, but
You're
I'm waiting. It's only been 15, 20 seconds.
I thought you waited 2 or 3 minutes.
No, sometimes I know I like to wait a good 45 seconds, then fade the music out.
Sounds good.
I mean, but then you called me out, so now it's like.
Now, I like
you
music.
just-
I listened to all the music songs last night on our Watch Phee Live or Watch Phee Die.
Sure.
I listened to every one of them on the loop.
Oh,
I just
good.
am very impressed
Well.
with your music choices, Mark.
Well, I don't know. I just.
Well, you put on a show with those rascals.
Well,
you know.
it's just easy to poke into AI, make Phee Smee, Phee Smee, Phee Smee, prophecy,
Never
vision,
underestimate Mark's ability to,
improvise.
or to interact with AI. But,
I don't know
hey,
about that.
CIA, FBI directors or former directors are now feeling the wrath of when they do not catch their target.
Sure.
Now their target becomes more powerful, and then now they are the ones that are being attacked.
Okay.
And I have a feeling that they're going to go to jail.
Okay, so well, nothing ever happens.
I know. Nothing ever happens. And but this time they got the wrong dude. They went after the wrong guy.
They've been saying that yeah, Trump's the wrong guy. Okay, yeah, I mean, no, I'm a pro-Trump guy, but nothing ever happens.
Well, the Russian hoax. Do you think that had anything to do with the 2020 election results?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Well,
Well, I mean, they've been stealing elections for however long, so I mean, it's just like
they've
nobody
certainly
ever
tried 3 times. I don't know if they've got it, but they definitely accomplished it once.
Yeah, well,
But
I'm just nothing ever happens. I'm not getting my hopes up for nothing.
nothing ever happens. Well,
No.
that is Mark calls me names all the time that I don't understand. He also uses terms that I don't understand. But today, I caught on to what he was saying. He said to me, "That's a boomer thing," and I said, "No, is that talking about like a baby boomer?" And he says, "Yes." Well, you might not be a baby boomer. I said, "Well, I think I'm the last year of the baby boomers." But I said, "Well, what do you mean by a boomer?" And he said, "Well, the boomers' attitudes are like, we own 6 rent houses, but my son or daughter's having problems paying rent." And I thought, boy, that's the way the younger generation sees the older generation.
Well, 100%.
I wonder how the
No
teenagers, how do the teenagers look at the 30-year-olds?
Sure.
What they think? What would you think that they're thinking?
I have no idea.
They think I'm obsolete or a dinosaur, but I'm talking about because I'm 60 years older,
Yes.
or 40 years older than they are.
Yes.
But I didn't know what they would think of the 18-year-olds
Oh, I
would
ha- I
think
have-
of the 32-year-olds.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
What do they? Which one's Gen X? Which one's millenniums? Which one's
Well, I get like the Gen X are some 80s, some 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Millennials are some, I guess, 80s and 90s to like 96. or
and
something.
what is it now?
Well, I think we're already into Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
Yeah. Moved on from Gen Z. Now Gen Z is the young, hip, in style folks right now.
Who
But
comes up with those terms?
couldn't tell you.
Gen Z, Gen Alpha, baby boomer. I don't know. Millenniums,
I don't. Millennial.
millennials.
Millennial. Yes.
Okay. Well,
yes.
I mean, again, you're talking about somebody that obviously doesn't know
Well,
this term.
these are
I
just-
asked him yesterday what the term gaslighting meant. I mean, you're telling me I'm out of touch. I've been in seclusion for right out 4 or 5 years. I'm now out. I'm back on the scene, trying to learn this verbiage, trying to learn this new hip
Well,
stuff.
but it's-
I've heard the term slave from some of my students. When you're dealing with these 16, 17, 18-year-olds, you start hearing these slangs. But you've got your own set of slangs.
Well, yeah.
Own set of terms.
I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't put that much time thinking about it, I guess.
Well, you just say, well, he's gaslighting me. And I say,
Well, it's just
what does gaslighting mean?
it's just a common term that you see online all over.
Yes, but I'm again not in that world very long,
Well,
so
I
I'm
mean,
learning about it.
Sure.
But I got the boomer though. I was
Yeah.
I thought you should have given me an A for that because I caught on to that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Boomer.
Boomer Sooner is what I was thinking about.
Oh, well, I don't even know what that means.
That's because you're not a football fan, but Oklahoma is known as the Boomer Sooners.
Sports ball.
Yeah, sports ball.
We love that sports ball here at the Phee Smee Network.
Well, I do. That's half of us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're right at 50%.
Well, I'm not hating on it. I'm not hating. I mean, if we got an audience for sports ball.
If you had
Great.
the opportunity to go on a 10-mile hike, and you wouldn't take me because I wouldn't make it with my knee and hip.
Sure.
And then if I wanted to go to the Super Bowl, you'd be like, y'all have a good time.
Well, I mean, I might go for the chips and dip, or
you go to the tailgating,
the fellowship.
Yeah, fellowship, tailgating. But you wouldn't be that excited when they scored a touchdown and 80,000 people went nuts. You'd be like, "Where's my chips?"
Yeah, I'd be like, or I'd be looking to see if anyone dropped any quarters or something.
Or you'd be looking to try to steal some more of my potato chips.
I would.
I've got those rascals hid now. He can't find them. He's found them 3 times.
We'll see. We'll see.
He searches when he's not breaking in my house, he's stealing my chips.
Well, he's just an easy target.
Hey, I'm a boomer.
Well, I know they're too naive.
Too naive.
And that's coming from the most naive guy on the planet.
You're talking about me.
No, that's me.
You're naive.
And I'm saying that's coming from the most naive guy.
Well, I would tell you that Mark is not that naive, that he plays like he's naive.
Me?
But he's very, very sharp about most subjects. One thing he's not sharp about is sports ball. Sports ball is not what he would call something. He's not interested in who's the #1 pick is in the NFL draft this year, I can promise you.
Couldn't tell you.
Let's ask a question, Mark, to see about your sports knowledge. Can you give me the mascot for the Florida State football team?
Florida State?
Florida State.
I mean, they're not the Gators, are they?
The Gators. That's
Oh,
close.
okay.
That was Florida Gators.
Okay,
It's
well,
the
I don't
Florida
know.
State Seminoles.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard of them.
Well, okay. I mean,
Heard of 'em.
How about could we get closer to home? Let's go to Oklahoma State.
Is it the Sooners?
Cowboys.
Cowboys? I don't know.
It's Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh, it's okay, yeah.
So far.
OSU.
Now let's go to our home
I'm
state.
embarrassed.
Our home state. Ready, folks?
Okay.
The Arkansas State.
I don't know, man. I should know.
Used to be the Indians when I was
They're like the Wolves now, aren't
15.
they?
Now they're Redwoods.
Yeah,
Mark
Red
did get
Wolves.
that one right.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
That is, he would go to the Hall of Fame in baseball, batting .333.
I'll take it.
So I guarantee you he wants to be the best around. Someone asked me yesterday what was a good baseball movie. I told them that the most underrated baseball movie is Cobb. Tommy Lee Jones plays Cobb, and very, very excellent movie, well done, and just shows you how mean that he was. He was absolutely mean as could be.
Sure.
So, you watched any movies lately?
No.
Well, you're not a movie guy.
No, I'd rather talk about them.
But you know we've had so much rain here lately that there's a lot of people now talking about, hey, we're going to binge some movies with some good movies.
Sure. Oh, I can tell you.
So I gave them a list of some pretty good movies.
Sure.
I like Dead Poet Society with Robin Williams.
Okay.
Hitch with Will Smith.
Sure.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey and my girl Kate Hudson.
Sure.
So those are the things that I recommended to him. A gentleman that asked me a couple of days ago, he said, I'm fixing to binge about 3 movies. What would you suggest? And of course, my first business was in the video business.
Of course.
In the movie business.
So you know a lot of movies.
Well, I love movies. I used to watch a whole lot more than I do now.
Sure. I mean, I enjoy watching a movie, but I can't remember the last movie I watched.
How many movies have you been to at the theater in the last, let's say, since COVID?
Well, since COVID, I've probably been to a few, only because I ran with a little group that there was a guy who just loved all the Marvel movies. So anytime a Marvel movie would come out, he'd drag all of us to the Marvel movie. So I'd go, I've probably been, less than 20 times, maybe 20 times.
You've been 20 times to the movie since COVID?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Or maybe more. Maybe a little more. I don't know if that's not a lot.
I'd say that's a lot.
Well, that's only.
if you're going to a theater twice a month,
Well,
that's a lot.
yeah.
I have been to 2 movies at the theater since 2020.
Okay, sure.
Oppenheimer was the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and The Accountant 2 was the second.
Sure.
That's the only 2 movies that I have watched in the theater since COVID.
Okay. Okay.
But now, you don't go to COVID when you're terminally ill, or go to the theater when you're terminally ill. And during COVID,
No.
they shut it down, and afterwards, I did watch more of the Food Network when I was, expecting to die all the time. I don't know why I got excited about just watching people cook.
Yeah,
I
well,
never have been able to cook.
Well, no, me either. I kind of like it though.
Well, you just cook over an open fire.
Well, it'd be nice.
So yeah, well, you enjoy open fires
I do. I love it.
and camping.
I love that camping. Ready to do some more camping.
He wants to do a podcast. We want a lot of input. We're going to do a Manly Mark hiking podcast, but we don't know how often we're going to do it. I think he'd like to live in the woods.
Well, I would if I didn't have a family.
Right. Well, I'm talking about you still have to be able to come back.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
You could probably do what you think 6 hikes a year for us.
Oh yeah. I mean, how long are these hikes? How long are these
You
hikes?
say 5 days a week.
Oh yeah.
Depends on what trails you're going.
Yeah.
I would leave that up to you because you're the planner.
Sure.
If it's
sure.
a 3-day hike to where
Right.
you're going.
Right.
And if you go there and back, or would you just go there and then cut the video, or what?
I don't know. Well, I mean, just to start off, I could even just do overnight. An episode of an overnight hiking trip because plenty of 15-mile loops around here.
Okay.
Which is we get there around 11 o'clock in the afternoon, hike until it starts to get dark, set up camp, wake up, set up camp, hike for another few hours, and then you're done. But I mean, the week-long hikes are good too. I'm just saying, there you can do a wide variety.
Well, in the United States, Arkansas has a tremendous amount of natural trails, state parks.
Yep.
Caves. Devil's Den is really a popular place for hikers, but
Well, it's one of my
also
favorite
Hot Springs
hikes.
National Park.
Yeah, I've never hiked down in Hot Springs. I've hiked Devil's Den, and that was one of my favorite trails. Didn't see one, but I heard Bigfoot. But I've never been to Hot Springs.
You heard Bigfoot?
Yeah, I heard Bigfoot.
Of course.
Promise.
And the Loch Ness Monster?
No.
Oh.
No, I heard Bigfoot. A whoop. I heard Bigfoot do a whoop.
A whoop.
Yeah.
Can you do a whoop?
No, I can't.
Okay.
But I mean, just go whoop whoop. I can't do it. But you know what the noise I'm talking about?
I do not. I've never heard Bigfoot.
Whoop. They make like a whoop. There's like
Whoop.
kind of like
Whoop.
that. So maybe, but I'll show it to you. We'll have to look it up after the show.
I can't imagine them having audio of Bigfoot.
No, they do.
To the point to where Mark now hears noises in the woods and immediately thinks, that's Bigfoot.
Phil, they have just thinking about it in your boomer terms.
Boomer terms.
They first off, like, have like 1 million documentaries on TV about Bigfoot, where you can it's just common knowledge that Bigfoots make a common sound. There's common sounds that are attributed to Bigfoot.
So you're a believer in Bigfoot?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't. There's very multiple different types of believers in Bigfoots too.
Okay. Well, let's go through them.
Well, I mean, I'm not an expert because, like I said, I just think what I think and leave it at that. But there's the people who think like, oh, nothing supernatural, just undiscovered or unadmittedly discovered animal. Okay. Then there's the type who think there's like some weird supernatural aspect because in a lot of places where there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings, there's also UFO sightings. There's been accounts of Bigfoot's just kind of phasing in and out, disappearing, appearing kind of things. And so maybe they're connected to the supernatural in some way. Or there's the people who say like, oh, you can actually develop communication with them. This and that. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I know what I heard, and it was a whoop.
A whoop.
Yeah, and on all these podcasts, they'll be like, this guy's calling in, being like, yeah, I went hunting, and I recorded this audio, and I just sent it, I sent it in to you. We're gonna play that over in just a second. Yeah, and I heard that noise, I ran, and I saw that thing, and I kept running, and they're like, well, we'll play the noise, and the noises all usually match up, but they're just Bigfoot noises.
If you've had a Bigfoot sighting or heard a whoop Bigfoot noise, please comment in the chat.
Well, and as soon as I started hearing it, I pulled out my phone and I started recording. But of course, it stopped. And
Well, it knew you were recording.
I mean, I don't know that because it was across the creek. Well, because I mean, to set the scene for you, I was the hike I was on was probably like 16, 17 mile loop. Okay, and I was like, okay, halfway through the loop at nighttime, but the campsite that I found was off the trail a pretty good ways in that the trail was up on a large ravine and where like two kind of hillsides come together. And so I kind of climbed down, me and my dog climbed down because I could see the creek down there. Climbed down. Took us 10, 15 minutes to climb down this ravine onto this little creek bank. And so a little ways from the creek bank is where I made my camp. I had a rock ring, fire. I had my hammock hung up. I was cooking supper. And I was, leaned up against the rock, just chiefing. And that's when I heard it across the creek, whoop, whoop. And I was like, that's a Bigfoot. That's Bigfoot. And I thought, amazing grace, how sweet the sound. But I heard what I heard, man. Heard what I heard. That's the only experience I've had. But
Well, I think that's a good one.
well,
I mean, it took him 15 minutes to get down the ravine with his dog by the creek bank, and when he heard the Bigfoot, I was wondering how quickly he got out of there.
I didn't. And you know what's funny is I listen to a lot of spooky stories about hiking and camping where Bigfoot encounters are often the point of the story, and oftentimes I'm thinking, why the idiots? The first sign of trouble, I would have got the heck out of there. Idiots. But for some reason I just thought, well, I'm not hearing it again. Nothing's bothering me, so I guess I'll stay. And but I don't know. Even my dog's ears perked up when we heard the whooping too. So it's like,
Freaky deaky doers.
Yeah, but I don't know.
My
My arm's cut off.
I was a
can't do
freshman at the University of Arkansas, and I had a girlfriend, and she wanted to go camping. So
Okay.
we went to the one of the dorms, and they had actually tents for the residents to rent for the weekend.
Sure.
So we rented a tent and I guess a few supplies, and we drove down to just north of Mountainburg
Sure.
from Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm from West Memphis, so it's flat over there.
Yeah.
But in Fayetteville, we drove instead of from Fort Smith driving north. We were in Fayetteville. We drove south to right at Mountainburg.
Sure.
I can almost show you where we got off the road and where we decided to try to pitch the tent. Well, we got the tent up, which was just a little canvas tent.
Sure.
It's not one of these
Sure.
fancy schmancy tents like you get today.
Right.
And we got it up, and by the time we got inside there and it got dark, we started hearing what we thought was a bear.
Okay.
That could have been a deer or a hog.
Sure.
We didn't see it. It was dark. But we could not get out of that tent and into the car quick enough.
Phil.
So what happened is we actually went back to the dorm and camped in the dorm room, which meant we didn't use any electricity.
You are pitiful.
So that was my idea of camping is
He was trying
the
to
Holiday Inn Express.
salvage any bit of masculinity left.
There was none. There is no masculinity in Phee Smee's camping trips.
No, I mean I might have done the same thing though, honestly.
Oh, I don't think so. You heard Bigfoot and just decided that you would get your phone out and start recording noises. I heard what I thought was a bear and sprinted to the car and hoped the girl came behind me.
Well, I don't know what else I was supposed to do. Because I was
I don't know how many.
7, 8, 9 miles in the wilderness.
There's some theories here that Mark's going to have to go through to me because I'm not very bright in the Bigfoot arena, but don't you believe, Mark, over a period of years that Bigfoot would have to mate? And how many Bigfoots are there? And do you think there are any Bigfoots in Arkansas? If you can go through those type things with me.
Well, of course, Bigfoots have to mate, I'm sure.
Okay.
I mean,
So there's more than one,
yeah.
male and female.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yelling. Stop projecting. Yeah, male and female. Well, because there are accounts of specifically male and female Bigfoot, like describe the female anatomy on the Bigfoot. They have breasts, you know, and so they breed, or they describe like young ones. They are definitely in Arkansas. There's been sightings all over Arkansas. When I lived in Central Arkansas, the little town I lived in, there were specifically sightings in that town. A buddy of mine says he had seen one. You know what I'm saying? And there was even a guy. I'll have to ask my brother, but there was a guy around town who was known as the Bigfoot guy, who claimed he had him in his backyard. Like, not his backyard, but his backyard was just woods, right? And gave one a shirt, and that said that thing wore it till it fell off of him. You know what I'm saying?
So your friend gave Bigfoot a shirt?
No, not my friend. This is just a guy apparently known around town. But then, see, that sounds a little far-fetched, sure. But there are, I know it sounds crazy, but then it gets even crazier because, like, a lady that would cut our hair sometimes had a little hair salon shop down there. She claimed, I asked her myself, and my brother asked her, or told me or something. But I know this lady said that you can hear him from her backyard.
Does she cut their hair?
No. You ask those questions to delegitimize what I'm saying.
Yes.
But you make yourself look like the fool because
Yes.
it's like...
Because you're telling stories about your folks that giving T-shirts to Bigfoot, and then your
I
hair
don't know.
salon lady.
All I'm saying is the hair salon lady.
I'm the idiot.
Yes, obviously.
Well,
Because think about it. 4 or 5 years ago, you would have asked a similar passive-aggressive question if I mentioned cloud seeding or weather manipulation. But as we can see, very obviously real, right? Or the UFO phenomenon. People say, no, just completely fake. Passive-aggressive question to delegitimize the conversation, right? But then the military will come out and say, oh, here's videos of us videoing the UAPs. I'm just saying there are things like that you laugh at. I heard the Bigfoot. Just a one-off encounter. Probably never happened again. Was it Bigfoot? Was it not? I'm about 50-50, if I'm being honest.
Right.
But the haircut lady's hearing something consistently in her backyard. I don't know.
And the guy's giving T-shirts.
Well,
to
now
something.
that guy might just be crazy. I thought that was just silly.
Well, I think it was a really good addition to the story.
Well, but that kind of stuff's real, man.
But you would,
it's real.
Would you put that in the same category as my vision, where people's disbelief of Bigfoot and people's belief of my vision?
I think it depends on the person, because if someone doesn't believe in God or that kind of thing, then they would say, well, you tell them your vision, they say, well, yeah, and you're probably having tea with Bigfoot on Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to someone who might be a Christian or might believe in God or who might believe in prophecy or visions, they might say, okay, yeah. And I think for a lot of people who, like maybe even the Baptist world, they're not going to say, oh, he didn't have a vision from God, because what if he did? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. And so, but then people who do believe in miracle kind of things, there's no problem. So they'd think it's crazy like Bigfoot,
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who believe in modern day prophecy, or not prophecy necessarily, modern day visions and such. So,
What is scriptural?
I don't think it's big. Well, here I am arguing for Bigfoot, so maybe I do put it in the same category.
That's why I asked.
Oh, well, up until this point, I would have said, well, no, I don't put it in the same category. But the way I just framed the whole conversation, maybe.
Yes.
But,
well, you're a believer in Bigfoot.
yeah.
So if
don't know what it is. Yeah, I lean more towards the supernatural side of it. Like there's some sort of supernatural aspect. Maybe there's just places where the veil to other realms are thin, and these things just cross through and cross back through. I don't know. Or they're just apes. I don't know. I don't have any idea. If Jesus came up to me and said, "Oh, hey, Bigfoot's not real," I'd be like, "Okay, well, I was wrong about that one." Right. I'm not one of those crazy. I don't have a Bigfoot sticker on my Jeep or.
I've seen those.
Yeah, me too. They look cool, but
And Bigfoot does a really good job selling beef jerky.
he does, man.
So, and he can talk.
Soft disclosure.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Get you comfortable with it, man. I don't know if you ever heard of the TV show Stargate, or there's a movie in the '90s called Stargate. Yeah, with James Spader as Daniel Jackson. Anyway, it developed later on to a TV series. Different actors, still brilliant, but Stargate SG-1, right? Anyways, long story short, the idea is that the Stargate's a secret military, a military secret, right? Because they're going to other worlds, they're doing crazy missions, going to other worlds. Well, anyways, within that TV show, the U.S. government creates a TV show called, like, I can't remember what it is, but Star Portal. And in the TV show, there's a TV show about the Stargate program to soft disclose or get the public introduced to the idea, so that later on, if the Stargate program came out, people wouldn't freak out. And there's even an episode where it's like the actors in the Star Portal TV show have to run around with the real Stargate guys, and then it's cool. But the idea is, the whole plot of the episode was, hey, we got to make a TV show to soft disclose this. And so I just
Hollywood has been known throughout the years to be a puppet for the federal government and whatever type of social cultures that they're trying to shift.
Right.
And they shift those cultures over a period of time slowly.
Yeah.
So I believe what you're saying as far as those things
Oh, yeah.
concerned.
Now, is Bigfoot commercials soft disclosure? Probably not.
Probably not.
No, but
probably not. But I can see different shows, even comedies back in the '70s when it was real. Integration was new, and they would come out with shows that showed blacks and whites.
Well, yeah.
And they were trying to get people accustomed and used to.
That's
100%.
100%. That's what they were doing.
And and they do that now.
And it in the '90s, they did it with the homosexual characters.
Exactly.
They were the funny, jokes. Look, it's funny, Uncle, whatever.
Well, you've got to get people
comfortable
to like those characters, and then they can associate those characters with what they're trying to push down your throat.
Right, and they empathize.
Society.
Yeah. So we shouldn't hate any of those folks.
No, well, my sin is just as great as theirs.
Amen. But it's more of it's less about hating those folks who are sinning it, or doing the sin, but we don't want to
promote it.
We'll promote it, and we don't want it to become it already is now, but a socially accepted thing.
Absolutely.
Adopted societal.
But it goes to prove that it works.
Oh, it does work. It does work.
It worked with the interracials. It worked with the.
I think culture. A lot of those people want to hate on Christians who have opinions like, say, well, yeah, I think homosexuality is a sin. I think drunkenness is a sin. Okay, but I don't want society to push drunkenness on everyone. Right. I don't want society to push murder on everyone. I don't want society to push homosexuality on everyone. But
they have been pushing violence with video games and movies for 50 years.
100%.
You can see the difference in the culture of society.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
I mean, these video games these days, they actually compared from an experiment with these video games to my generation's cartoons.
Sure.
Because they'd say in a 30-minute show of this cartoon, you saw 15 murders.
Yeah.
And then you on these video games, they're shooting folks and they're going through these things, and the object of the game is to kill people.
Yeah.
So whether it's cartoons and Roadrunner and Coyote, or whether it's Tour of Duty.
Yeah, well, I would rather be playing Tour of Duty.
Would you than watching my?
Well, if they both have similar effects, one of them is a whole lot more fun than the other. Now, I enjoy those cartoons, but if they're both going to rot my brain, I want to play the brain rot that's fun. And engaging.
Well, one of them you're actually involved in, the other one you're just laughing at.
Yeah.
So or do you want to participate in the event, or do you want to watch it? that's the key.
Sure, I want to participate.
So you want to participate, don't you? I'll get you a participation trophy
Here-
for a sports ball team.
Here, do you want to? Here's your rifle. Go participate. Nah, I'm fine. I just want to watch.
Yeah. Mark says that he was so the day of his events of cross country that any other time he just ran for the fun of it and excited about it. But during the day of the event, he was expected to win, being the best. He was always so nervous.
Well, yeah,
about
I don't,
that,
I
and
don't
you
like
didn't
competing.
enjoy that,
No,
did you?
I don't like competing.
You didn't?
Well, I like competing, but not running competing, because it's like, okay, well, I mean, just running, going out for a jog, feels good. Breeze in your hair, music in your ears, your thoughts are flowing freely. But when you're racing, it's just from the get-go. After the first 10 seconds, you're already winded. You're already thinking, man, this is absolutely miserable, and I've got 18 more minutes of this, right? And so for the next 18 minutes, I'm constantly thinking, every time I see a little distance marker, I have currently completed 1/32nd. I have currently completed 2/32nd. Oh, no, that's not very much. Just...
So that's what's going through your mind, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. And by the end of it, you're just literally ready to black out. Your whole body hurts. You can't breathe. It doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
But the difference in you just going out and running with the music in your ear, you're not competing, was very relaxing.
Well, yeah.
But you competing, because the expectations of you winning or wanting to win.
Well,
the structure of it.
I guess it's just, I should have been practicing like I competed, not competed like I was practicing, right?
Gotcha.
But
makes sense.
Because if you told me to, hey, go out on this track when no one else is running and try to run a 18-minute 5K, I'd be like, yeah, okay, probably not going to happen, because I'm relaxing. I'm not trying to kill myself.
Right.
But during a race,
you're trying to win.
Well, yeah, we're trying to do the best I can.
Right.
So I'm running race speed. So I don't know.
And you just mentioned some numbers there, because I was going to ask you. I don't know how long a cross country race is, but you said 1:32. So
I just made that. I made that up.
Is that something that's is it a normal exact course?
Yeah. It's typically
does it change.
Well, it changes. The course will change, but the distance typically is 5K.
5K.
So is it 3.1 miles?
3.1.
Yeah, okay. 3.1 miles.
Okay, so you're basically running 16-minute or 6-minute miles average over rough terrain and hills.
Yeah.
It's pretty salty.
Yeah. Well, but there are people who are doing it 16, 17. I couldn't do that now, but 16, 17, 15 minutes. Whew, crazy.
Well, over the last 70 years, people have really, especially those Kenyans, they know how to run long distance.
Sure.
So they're running 26 miles, but 3.1 miles in an average of 6 miles over that kind of terrain, that's impressive to me.
Cross country.
Yeah, well, I never participated in it, and I have to, I'll be honest with you, I have never went and actually watched one.
I don't know if it's fun to watch, but...
Well, I guess if you've got a child in it or a friend that you're trying to support, that you would do it. But I did watch a great movie with Kevin Costner.
Sure.
About a track team, cross country team, and they actually won the championship in the state of California against a bunch of highly very wealthy, affluent schools, and these were all folks that worked out in the fruit.
Sure.
They're all Hispanics that so they could run for days.
Sure.
And they couldn't play football, so their football team got beat 72-8, and dude said, you need to be having a track program, not a football program.
That's funny.
But really great movie. I can't think of the name of it now, but if I do, I'll let you know. What else is going on, Mark?
Couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell me, huh?
No.
Well, yesterday it was rained early in the day. It's been raining for a couple of days since that Texas cloud seeding. Now it's all over the news.
It's weird.
What do you think is going to happen with that? You think it'll just disappear? Or do you think the rainmaker CEO is going to pay for a whole lot of hundreds of deaths?
It might just dissipate like the clouds in his program.
Yeah.
These people are never held to account. If anything, it might bring a larger awareness to cloud seeding and weather manipulation in general. But I'd be pretty surprised if the news actually starts blaming cloud seeding for these deaths.
That would be in the conspiracy theory arena, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I suppose so. I mean,
For being modern. Modern mainstream media.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody's watching modern media.
No, they're all watching us.
They're all watching what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, us or Alex Jones.
Wherever they get their news, their information, their entertainment, it's certainly not MSNBC, Fox, or CNN, isn't it?
No, as soon as Tucker Carlson left Fox, it went downhill.
Well, and Fox is number one in the news rating, which tells you how bad the rest of them are.
Oh, yes. I
mean, CNN used to be, when Desert Storm took off in the early 90s, that was the go-to news channel. And they've ruined that over the last 35 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then MSNBC had a good run with Obama and then Biden. But now Fox, for the last, I guess, 3 or 4 years, has been dominating.
I guess my family's been Fox forever.
Well, it's like I said in my first podcast back in November, I don't understand. They're playing to their own base. Nobody that's Democrats watching Fox. Nobody that's a Republicans watching MSNBC.
Right.
And they're very. The term journalist is very loosely termed when it comes to them.
Right.
They are TV personalities that have a hint of journalism, but they're actually producing a show.
Right.
They actually have advertisers that have some influence on what their content is about.
Right.
And so, and they all have different advertisers.
Right.
From because of their base.
Yes.
So, I believe I watch 3 TVs because I want to see what everybody does. The liberals, the conservatives, Democrats, Republicans.
Sure.
And of course, I like my sports.
You gotta have them.
So yeah, you got the old sports ball.
Opiate for the masses, man.
Yeah, that black screen's also.
I agree, man.
So we all have our escapes, don't we?
Yes.
So, and I've done this 13 times. I've turned them down as many times as I can possibly turn it down. So. I don't know what more we need to do there. All right, Mark. Well, let's get into this. I wanted to talk to you about.
Tell me something good.
The rock that Moses struck for the water. Have you seen a picture of it? That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did not know that they had a picture of it until a couple of weeks ago, and when I saw it, I was trying to think of what happened to that rock when Moses struck it with that staff.
Man, I don't know.
Because he was supposed to talk to the rock, and instead he struck the rock, and now that rock's got to split right down, right down. So, again, biblical artifacts, they're finding them more and more and more. They actually think that they've got a portion of Noah's Ark. I'm not so certain that that's.
I've been hearing that for years.
Yes, well, and nothing happens.
No, nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens. We ought to have a podcast with Mark saying nothing ever happens, and you could go over a list of topics that are consistently out there that never happen.
World War III.
Well, aren't you glad it hadn't happened yet?
No.
I mean, think about this. Before World War I, people were just going around about their business.
Well, don't get me started on World War I now.
Well, you can get started. I'd love to hear your history politics about World War I.
I don't have any necessarily history politics. It's just a tragedy, man. World War I and II were brother wars, man. The European men were brothers and were manipulated into these wars where millions and millions and millions of men who probably could care less about war or the politics of the people pulling the strings were killed.
6 million in World War I, 56 million in World War II.
Yeah, and those were predominantly European men. It just makes you wonder if there's an agenda to limit those people. I don't know, man. So, I don't know.
You like the Eastern European folks or Western European folks?
Well, I like all people.
Do you?
But European, Eastern European. Yeah.
I was talking about more their culture, the way they raised.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, their culture, well, yeah. Well, even look at all the successful forms of government around the world, right? We claim are the democracies, right? Where do those ideas originate from? Like, or like the principles of the founding fathers, like people like John Locke, right? Is he an Englishman or a Frenchman or this? What I'm saying is all these ideas that we say were foundational for modern governance or modern philosophy all came from people who were like European, right?
That's right.
So it's like,
well, the longest democracy in history is right at 500 years.
Sure.
And the United States is going at 250 next year.
sure.
So we're halfway through the longest.
Well,
I don't think we've got another 200 years
No.
here on this earth.
No.
But it's amazing that God has blessed our country like He has over a period of years,
Mhm.
and there's a reason why. It's just not because He thinks America's good people, because our history proves that we're just as sorry as
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
we we stole the land from the Indians, and
manifest destiny. We were given it.
yeah,
We were given it.
yeah, that's what you believe.
Well, we didn't steal the land from. I mean, we took it, but only because they were.
We took it, didn't pay for it, but
Well,
we didn't steal
but
it.
the idea that you got to feel bad for it.
I don't feel bad.
No,
about it.
no, but just
I
the
didn't do
whole
it.
idea. No, but if I did do it, I wouldn't feel bad for it. The whole idea
Well,
is.
I might feel bad if I did it.
Well, no, you
If I
probably
stole
would.
somebody's land,
If you were living back there, you'd be like, huh, they aren't even capable of owning land. They don't even have. I'm just saying, if we were Englishmen in the 1500s, we'd probably have some wild opinions. You know what I'm saying?
not only that, but all you have to do is go into
Savages can't own
a
land.
church and say, hey, these Indians just scapped 2 white women, and you'd have a bunch of Christian men getting on horses, getting ready to go scap
Well,
them.
but even then, the point I'm making is it's like the indigenous who claim, oh, our land was stolen. Well, your ancestors stole it from someone else, who stole it from someone else, who stole. There was a whole bunch of inner violence between tribes already going on before we
Since
got
the
here.
beginning of
yeah,
time,
and so
hasn't
it's like
Biblical
no,
times are fighting.
Yeah, none of
constantly.
these tribes are probably even original to the places that they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Foolish. So it's like, I'm not going to feel bad because my ancestors came. You guys got the sniffles, and they took over. Sorry. Not to be mean, but
Oh yeah, I think you're.
because I mean, I would have taken me a Pocahontas baddie if I came over on a boat. Pocahontas walked up, I'd be like, "Come on, baby, take me back to that teepee." You know, because I would be like, "Okay, I'm one of them now." You know, like
You
Hunting.
fit right in.
hunt. You know, like think about it. Like you imagine, like it's some Englishman and you're some tax clerk, right? In 1683, and you're like, "Man, this is boring." You sit by candlelight all day at the desk, just writing these tax documents, and someone says, "Hey, we need some a scribe to take records for us on this trip over to the Americas." Okay, that sounds kind of like a cool adventure. I'm quitting this job. I'm going over there. You get over there, like I said, you land some bad. Pocahontas walks up. You're like, you tell me in this society the men hunt and fish all day, hang out with their buddies. The women take care of the kids, work in the fields, and then I come home and I'm revered. Yeah, I'm staying. Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Screw those tax documents. I don't know though.
Pretty awesome.
Well, I mean,
You just made living in the 1500s sound great.
I don't know. Man.
No air conditioning, no indoor
But
toilet.
who cares?
It's like, I care.
They might have had
They
They might have had indoor toilets back then.
They did not have indoor toilets, even in Arkansas in the 50s.
I know.
Some
I know.
areas.
My grandma said on her road, their house was the first one to have indoor plumbing. But what I'm saying is like
Something to be proud of.
indoor plumbing might not have been popular until like the 50s in America, but indoor plumbing's been around for like a long time.
Not 500 years.
It might have been.
They might have pooped and peed inside, but it wasn't any plumbing.
Indoor plumbing, man. Indoor plumbing.
It was a
yes.
glass mason jar or a slop job.
No, man, come on. Or even like in ancient, like Rome. And in Rome, they had like bathhouses where you go poop and it would be carried away on cisterns and stuff. They had,
Conveyor belts back in Egypt.
Well, no. God, listen to this crazy guy.
Well, one of the greatest chapters in Revelation is about the lukewarm churches. And we're going to go over that because the civilization with the hot springs that are 10 miles north of the city,
Yeah.
and the cold springs that are 10 miles south of the city, and they both have water systems going. And by the time they get to that spot, the hot water is warm, and the cold water is warm, and it's lukewarm. It's really cool.
I don't like lukewarm.
No, neither does Jesus.
No, he'll spit you out, spew you out of his mouth.
That's why, one thing about Mark is he does know the Bible.
Who, me?
Yeah, he just spits you out.
Well,
And that is exactly right.
Well, I don't know. I don't even own a Bible.
Well, you teach a Bible class on Wednesdays. Do you do it from memory, or do you just borrow one?
Nah, I just do it. I guess I just talk, man.
What did you teach on last night?
Well, it's summer, so we don't have.
You forgot. That's the second time I've asked you.
Yes.
So I won't ask you the third time. If I do, just backhand me.
We'll see. I'll backhand you. Phee Smee first here.
Well, we're hoping to spot Bigfoot and to hear a whoop today, and if not, maybe a backhand.
If we were going to Devil's Den, because there's also been a lot of UFO sightings at Devil's Den. UFO and Bigfoot sightings. Like Bigfoot sightings at Devil's Den is a common occurrence.
I'm sure it is.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not uncommon to hear of a sighting there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I just haven't heard of any Bigfoot sightings in Devil's Den.
Have you not? Well,
never.
Well, maybe you haven't, but what I'm saying is it's not unheard of.
I don't run in those circles.
Well, I know you don't run in those circles, but what I'm telling you is it's true that it's a common, a common thing. There's just been a lot of.
I don't know how common it is to see
I'm not
Bigfoot
saying,
or to hear
I'm not
Bigfoot
saying it's
at
real
Devil's
common,
Den.
but I'm just saying you're more likely to see Bigfoot at Devil's Den than just out in the woods in Paris.
Bigfoot has not been in my backyard. I have not given him a T-shirt, and I'm not cutting him. And my hairstylist has not cut his hair. But he might be 60 miles north of me in Devil's Den.
Jerry, if you're listening to this, I know you're a Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, well, there might be one out there besides you. But anyway, Bigfoot sells a lot of beef jerky. I liked him on television. I don't know how they reproduce, male and females. Mark has gone in depth with us here.
They have.
Again, I don't think we're going to be censored for talking about Bigfoot. I think we're pretty good in this conversation.
They have parts, man, and they probably give birth like an animal does, if they're physical entities. Like I said.
Well, you said they crossed over. Some people think they cross over spiritual beings.
I don't know, man. I've never.
Aliens.
I don't know. I don't know.
I tell you, the mystical, amazing. What do you think about the Loch Ness Monster? There's another one.
Could tell you.
That's over in England.
I haven't looked into it. Scotland, I think, but I don't know.
Scotland, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
But I haven't looked into it.
I've been over to Scotland, and I can tell you when I was there, didn't see a sign, a hair of Loch Ness.
I mean, it's probably real.
And I have been to Devil's Den, and actually went in a cave, and didn't see or hear a Bigfoot either. But it was during the day. And I had several people around me. It wasn't like I was by myself like you were.
Well, and like I said, I was off the trail.
Right, you were.
A good ways, next to water
And your dog
source.
heard it.
My dog heard it. My dog heard it, yes.
So, if you have had an encounter like Mark with Bigfoot, please you include it in the chat.
I'm just going to melt if Jerry comments, yeah, I got him. I gave one a T-shirt in my backyard. What are you talking about, Phee?
Well, if they start cutting Bigfoot's hair and giving him T-shirts, and this is a very solid community in Central Arkansas. I mean, this is not out in the middle of nowhere.
It's real.
It's a real, and
these are real people. I'm gonna go get some more information.
We're gonna get some documentation, folks, some video documentation of Mark playing with Bigfoot.
No, I'm not. I don't want to talk to him because what if they're demonic?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Because I get nervous about like creatures of the forest, right? Not animals, but just like, because I listen to a lot of like, I don't know, this might make me sound like a wacko, but
you're kidding.
Just like a lot of like spooky stories about like, I don't want to say folklore, creatures in the forests, right? And I just get nervous about them, man. I get nervous. And so like, there's just certain things you don't do in the forest. You know, you don't want to wear bright colors like neon. You want to wear natural tones.
Camouflage.
No, not necessarily. It's not even about camouflaging yourself. You just don't want to bring too much attention to yourself.
Don't want to stand out.
You don't want to stand out, right? You don't want to whistle.
Don't want to whistle.
You don't even necessarily want to hum. Maybe quietly, but I'm a hummer. So and you just things like that. Tobacco. Tobacco is a really good thing to carry and to smoke in the forest.
Why?
Protection, man.
Okay.
It's just something about tobacco, man. Something about it. And so, I always carry a pipe for pipe tobacco. And so, every once in a while I'm hiking or and you always want to rest or take a break, kind of sit down when there's a transition during the day, like from dusk to dawn or dawn to dusk. You know what I'm saying? Just when there's changes, you just want to be not on the move.
I think that's pretty neat. I mean, I would have never thought of transitional day. So dusk to dawn, dawn to dusk.
Just because there's just, and now don't get me wrong, if you get caught walking, I'm not saying it's in the world. But just certain things that respect the forest, man. Don't I say that? Don't get me wrong. I litter sometimes, but I don't know. You just have to have a certain respect for the forest, your surroundings. Like I said, I might sound like a crazy person, but there's always a different mindset I have when I'm doing that. But I don't know.
Well, I think
my ears are always open.
You're pretty, I'd say you're pretty secure in your knowledge and ability to do that, because I would want to be in a group setting.
Sure.
I would want other people around me. I would not be comfortable. I don't think I have had enough practice or the survival skills necessary if there was a crisis in the woods that I would be able to take care of by myself.
Well, and I'm also the type to be like, I don't want to be out there by myself. So I kind of surprised myself when I started doing it, just because I do get paranoid about, I am scared of the dark. I am, this and that. And so it's like, I don't know. I have my dog with me, and maybe that's good enough. I hadn't done it without my dog, but I don't know if I'd feel comfortable by myself on a 15-mile trail in the middle of the night without my dog.
Okay.
I don't know.
So the dog was the companion and kind of the security blanket?
Maybe. Okay. Maybe.
I can see that. I don't think I would want to take my dogs out there with just me, even if they were trained hunting dog type things.
Well,
but one of my dogs would stay right by me the whole time, and the other one would be gone in the first 5 seconds.
Mine would stay by me the whole time. And maybe, it is weird, because it's not like I spend all day talking to her, but just...
She's there.
Yeah, and she's she's old now, so she can't hear or see very good, but just, she's almost like a thermostat, right? Like, she's cool, easygoing. I know it's...
Cool and easygoing.
Right. If she starts getting nervous or antsy, right, or ears pricking up, or, what I'm saying? It's just, I like having that, because, I'm liable to get distracted or lost my, it's just, I don't know. I guess
or too comfortable
and not pay attention.
Not pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You always have your knife on your belt or a gun with you, or
a rifle.
Or what do you have?
Typically, I always have a knife, just a little dagger, just a camp. I just call it my camping knife, but I always have that on my pack. Easy to reach, just for cutting stuff, or if I had to, fight a bear. And typically, I'll have a gun, whether it's just like my 9mm or a 22 revolver. But I will say, when I went hiking on that week-long hike, forgot my gun, didn't have nothing. Had my knife, but idiot. Well, I forgot my sleeping pad too, so that's why I was cold, because the sleeping pad's not. It's
raining.
Well, it's a little
cold.
I was cold. It was miserable. The only reason that hike was...
Mark told me when he got back, he still today can't get over being that cold.
No, I still don't have a cold tolerance, and it wasn't even that cold necessarily outside, because it was like into April, right? But the nights were still pretty chilly, getting down to about 40 or something in the mountains. And the whole point of sleeping pads to insulate your bottom, while you're laying on it. Oh man, you don't think you need it. Laying on a hammock, right? I had my little blanket on me, but the wind, the small breeze blowing under you, just sucks every bit of heat out of you, every bit of heat. So you just can't sleep. The next night, you try to think, you say, well, my hammock you can also set up as a tent. So I say, man, screw that. I'm sleeping on the ground tonight. You know, same problem. Ground just sucked the heat right out of you. So it was just a week of, I would stay awake all night just because I was so cold. And then right as the sun would start to come up, I'd fall asleep for maybe an hour or two, then wake up and be like, oh no, got to get started. I'm getting started too late. You know, so it was just a cycle of misery. But it was still a good time.
Well, all of the things that I would not think about that are important when you go on those type of hikes.
Yes.
I wouldn't have known about the
You want to insulate your
heat,
bottom.
escaping with the hammock. I certainly wouldn't think that that if you were in a tent sleeping on the ground that the heat would escape.
It would.
But
it does.
I guess it's because of the time of year.
Time of year, and the ground's just always cooler. You know, at night, I guess, and it just, like I said, sucks the heat out of you. It's just, and it's such a noticeable thing that you can't ignore it. You know, like you can't. I guess probably the last night I did it, I realized, well, if I just take all my clothes off and lay on top of those, it gave me just enough
Heat to sleep.
Yeah, insulation to go to sleep. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today on the Phee Smee Show with Manly Mark. We have had a great opportunity today to spend time talking about in depth with Bigfoot.
Bigfoot,
and
yes.
the opportunities of people actually hearing of, seeing, putting T-shirts on, and getting their hair cut by Bigfoot. So
he mocks me. He mocks me.
I can always tell you that he mocked me too. He did not like me reading on the air for 15 minutes.
Nobody wants to hear you reading for 15 minutes.
So again, I thought I was very good. He made fun of me, and just like I make fun of him on the old sports ball, he makes fun of me on the old Bigfoot sighting. So tune in tonight to Phee Smee Live.
What time?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Same as last night.
Same as last
Jerry,
night.
if you're listening, 9 p.m. brother.
We will put it up on the chat. And any last words, Mark?
No, just thanks you guys for tuning in. We'll be back, I guess, on Monday with the Phee Smee Show. And will you be going live this weekend or on Friday?
Absolutely. We'll go live, and I will be posting when the chat is.
We'll go live, or you'll go live on Friday?
I'll go live.
Okay.
I'll go live this weekend. I don't know what night it'll be.
Sure.
If we can get the night up for Friday night or Saturday night, we'll probably try to do that. I'm more interested in getting some episodes of Our Man in the Mirror.
Sure.
I really like that song on the loop.
Isn't it good? It's been
I really think you just did a great job, Mark.
Well,
thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you again on the Phee Smee Network. Tune in, subscribe, and do everything you need to do to get the algorithms up for us.
Thank you, guys. Till next time.